Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. This is Any Kind Media. We are your host, Ocean Subiono.
I'm Taylor Vera.
And we are going to take a look at the show Moon Knight, produced by Disney and Marvel. You can find it on Disney+. We are going to give our final impressions of the show as this season has concluded. I should clarify. The season has concluded. And if you guys check back, maybe like 5 or 6 episodes ago, we did an initial impression of the show. We watched the first 2 episodes, and we did our initial impressions of the show. And now that the show has ended, we are going to give our final impressions of the show and share how we felt, what we liked, what we didn't like, and what we hope to see in the future.
If there is.
Yeah, if. So there are going to be spoilers in this. We are going to go spoilers straight off the bat. So this is your official...
Yeah, 'cause this is a full season recap, basically.
So this is your official... You're supposed to say spoiler alert.
Oh, sorry, spoiler. I thought you were doing that because the chair made like a farting noise.
Oh, no.
You were looking at me like, what? I didn't do it.
No, I did it because you usually say spoiler alert after. But yeah, official...
This entire episode, spoiler alert.
Yeah. So if you guys haven't seen the series, at least I do recommend to go and watch it. So if you guys want to go watch that before you finish this video, go ahead and do that. But please come back, finish the video, tell us what you think as we share our take on Moon Knight. So, Taylor, overall, what are your impressions of the series?
I'm just going to point out there, this might be a you included, but all the Marvel fans out there probably don't like how I feel about this show. From the first episode, or our first impression of the show, really enjoyed it. Now that it has ended, I do not like it.
Really? Okay. This might be our first... I'm not going to sit here and say I love the show and I thought it was amazing or anything like that, but... I did not like it. So this might be our first where we have completely opposite views of the show. So refresh us of how you felt after the first 2 episodes.
After the first 2 episodes, I really enjoyed how they were setting everything up. Oscar Isaacs, he kills it in this show. Oh, yeah. I love him. He does a phenomenal job on this show, as far as acting goes.
Yeah.
And Ethan Hawke is actually really good. I didn't like how they ended with his character. And for me, basically, since I think it was 3, since 3, it just started going down the whole time.
Okay. I'm not going to say that I don't understand, because I could see how you would feel that way. For me, when we first did our initial impressions, if I remember correctly, don't quote me because it's been a while, okay, and I have a horrible memory, but I enjoyed it as well. I thought it was fun. It was something new, something fresh. It was a different story, something that I don't know. I don't have any pre-existing knowledge of prior to, right? Because I have read a lot of comic books and a lot of stuff, and I don't know anything about Moon Knight other than this show. So I was excited for that. I was excited for Disney to tell a new story. And I know I commented on the fact that we're getting a different ethnicity too. Right. They're telling us an Egyptian story. So I was excited for that. And how I feel now is I'm satisfied, but I'm not blown away. Right? Like I'm not like this is the best TV show or the best Marvel TV show or limited series or whatever. I don't feel that way, but I also don't feel like it was a bust. So what is it about episode 3 that turned you, like, that started the decline?
Honestly, I can't remember much from 3 and stuff. Okay. All I really remember is like the last 1 or 2 episodes.
Okay. What was it that turned you off?
There's a lot. Okay. There's a lot of things that happen in this show that to me just doesn't make sense. It's not like, I don't know, it's like certain things. There are some really good things that stand out to me, like the whole thing with him and his creation of Steven with his
Yeah.
mom. Man, that was
Bro.
messed up.
That
Like that, and I mean, I like the fact that they took like a very serious approach to that.
yeah.
But that's just one of those few moments that I did like.
Yeah, if you examine that portion of the story in
Like,
and
it was
of
real
itself, bro, that's some heavy stuff, man.
Yeah.
Heavy stuff. And it like when I was watching, I was sitting there like, that's something that there's very few people that can relate, that actually relate to it.
Yeah.
So it's really hard for someone to actually empathize with Oscar Isaac's character, Mark and whatnot. But at the same time, you're sitting there just thinking to yourself like, damn, that's bleep bleep up, you know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. That's jacked
jeez,
up.
like I can't fathom. Like, no wonder this dude turned into what he turned into, you know, like
Yeah, he's trying to just suppress his.
he's just
life.
trying to survive, dude. Like, that would mess you up. Like, there's a lot of stories in fiction and in real life of fathers traumatizing their sons, right? It's very daddy issues are very common. But for it to have been his mother that just destroyed him, that's a whole nother level to me, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
especially the kind of relationship that I have with my own mother. Like, there's no way I can't imagine having to go through something. I don't think I could, you know, and I don't think I could survive something like that. That was gut wrenching, man. So, all right, man, sorry, I didn't mean to get off tangent, but what was it that turned you off?
So yeah, I mean, that was, I guess, just a side tangent because I did enjoy that. I mean, as far as like one thing I remember is like I don't remember what episode it might have been 3 or 4, I don't know. But whenever they like basically anytime there's like this weird like romance thing going on with Steven and Layla.
Okay.
Don't even know why it exists. Doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. It's not like I don't feel any emotion with it. I don't believe like the fact that they even should care about like it's. I mean, I get it's the same person, but
Right.
it doesn't make sense to me that like she's falling in love with just that personality, or whatever. And I know there was an episode that had that right before it did this weird like mummy like esque thing with like these like mummy characters.
Oh, you're
And,
talking about like
like,
the Heka and stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was like deep in
The
like
priest, the priest thing that
it
killed
does
the
like
dude.
a scary chase thing.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, but like it felt kind of weird to
Out of
me
place.
in this show, even though it is Egyptian. Like if I was watching The Mummy, yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense to me, and I love those movies. But and then Ethan Hawke's character, I feel like just gets destroyed by the end of the show. Like for as good as it was throughout, like right near the end, just turns into like a completely different character and just gets like wasted.
I could definitely feel that. It definitely felt like they were setting him up to be something else, and they were giving him all these nuances and character development and fleshing him out. And at the end, it was kind of like, oh, we're just gonna throw that all in the trash.
Yeah, it's just like forget him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we built this entire character throughout this show. Now, with that at the end, nobody cares about him.
Yeah. No, I definitely could agree on that for sure.
The episode with the pretty much all revolved in the asylum actually I did enjoy that episode. It had introduced that new,
Tarot.
whatever
the
goddess.
Egyptian goddess of, I think it's women and children.
I don't know.
I think
But
she's-
great character. I loved that whole part.
I died laughing, dude. I died laughing when when the first time you see her when she opens the doors and they
just
scream.
like, yeah, they're
and she's
screaming at
like,
each other.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
That episode was really good. But later on, like, whenever he's like trying to escape or whatever, and then like Steven like dies,
yeah,
to me was stupid. I don't know why it was so dramatic when it really, to me, it wasn't.
okay.
And then there's in the last episode there's a lot of plot holes, which doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, there's one major plot hole that I'll address later that I don't quite understand. But keep going. Keep going.
I feel like it's probably common, but throughout this show, it's called Moon Knight. You don't really get a whole lot of Moon Knight. Which, I mean, I get they want to like develop his character, and it makes sense to me. But with as few episodes as you got, you're trying to like do so. And this is my big problem, but this is why I ended up being really disappointed with the show. Is they start so many things throughout this show, and none of it gets finished to me.
Okay.
And if they, I mean, they kind of do in the last episode, but in a really bad way. Because the second to last episode, there was probably like 7 things that they needed to conclude. And they really only, like, I won't even say like half done it, but they just kind of sort of did like a few of them in the last episode. And to me, like, no. Like, you should have just made this longer if you wanted it to be longer. And
so you feel like the first few episodes created some expectations of where this story was going to go and how it was going to unfold, and then by the end of it, it had gone in a completely direction than you were anticipating.
well, because the problem is they wanted their focus so much on character development for Moon Knight or whatever, you know, Mark
and
Spector, Steven, all
yeah.
that stuff, that it ended up leaving the rest of the show to finish in like 2 episodes, and it doesn't, to me, is not satisfying at all.
Okay. No, I hear where you're coming from, and I think that that's a very
Like, I'm not opposed
valid
to what they wanted to do, but they didn't do it, and that's so I don't like it.
No, I think that's a very valid point. That they were. You're right. They were so focused on developing and separating Mark from Steven from Moon Knight, and showcasing how they ended up there, that everything that was happening around them kind of just didn't make sense, or they had to like pick and choose and put stuff in there to reinforce what they were trying to do with Mark and Steven.
Yeah, it wasn't that like, I mean, I understand in the sense of like basically where they were making cuts for the time length.
Right.
It's just the fact that they have to do all this because of what they decided to do.
I wonder how did they come to the conclusion that they are only going to do 6 episodes?
I don't know.
Is that a, like, I don't know how the creative process happens when it comes to a series like this, but I imagine that it would be something like they create the story, right? They create the story, they figure out what they want to do, how they want to tell it, and then based upon that, they figure out how many episodes they need to do it in. But it seems like with this series, they did it the opposite. They were like, okay, we have 6 episodes. How do we fit all of this stuff into 6 episodes?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know like Oscar Isaacs only wanted to do a set amount initially. I don't know if that was the main factor. If he was just like, look, I'll do this much and that's it. And they were just like, all right, we got to see what we can do with that.
That's interesting. You would expect that somebody coming into a movie enterprise that is as successful, or sorry, I should say entertainment enterprise that is as successful as Disney and Marvel are, you would expect them to kind of be like, I want as much as I can get, you know?
Yeah, but maybe he just doesn't want to be
He doesn't want to be the next
stuck as a like a hero, like, or he's not
I
really
could
a hero.
I
but
could see that.
you know what I mean?
They want a piece of it. They want to.
Like he wants to do it, but he doesn't want to be trapped in a character.
Right. That makes sense. I guess.
I don't know, but I'm just assuming.
Okay. You're definitely giving me different things to think about, because my initial reaction once the series concluded was that I really enjoyed the character development of Mark Spector and Stephen Strange, and I don't have any like actual training or knowledge of psychology at all. Like I didn't go to school or do anything, but I do enjoy those kinds of stories, and I have a sister that went to college for that stuff, and she teaches me a lot or tells me about a lot of things, and it does fascinate me. So whenever I see those kinds of stories and things being portrayed on screen, I think might be a little biased towards it. So I enjoyed the character development that they did with them, but
So I don't have a problem with the character
Right,
development.
right.
I'm just saying the show,
it
like,
wasn't complete because everything outside of it didn't wasn't finished.
yeah, because they wanted to focus so much on it, which I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It ruins the entire show as a whole.
Okay. Does
See,
it make it
like
unwatchable?
the character to me. Not. I mean, the last episode was kind of unwatchable. Like, it was pretty. I thought it was really bad, but because that's when they just start going off the wall with like ridiculous plot holes with everything. Especially like, and this is because obviously I have no knowledge of Moon Knight as like outside of this,
Right.
But within this show, it breaks its own like rules and stuff, and it's just, to me, is ridiculous. Like, that's why like to me as a finale, like, it was really bad.
Okay.
Basically the whole they do this like when Khonshu gets captured.
Right.
They do this
Because
super
he does the
dramatic ritual thing with all the different gods to stop him and
right.
seal him in the
into
thing.
the sand statue thing.
Bro, you're telling me they do all that, and anybody, a child, could have walked up and just boop, you're free.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Literally, all these gods are trapped in these little statues. Nobody's protecting it. There's no guards. You just walk up, and they're like, "Oh, Layla, you got to be the one to do it," and then that's it. That's all you got to do. And then they do this like thing which I'll admit, like, it makes the character more enjoyable. So they basically turn the goddess, right? She takes Layla as her avatar.
Right.
And she becomes a superhero.
Yeah.
She's better as that character to me than as
100%.
Layla.
Yeah.
However, there was a shot where they're outside fighting or whatever, and so she's using her powers.
I know.
And then there's a little bus of people that she saves, and then this little kid's like, "Oh my God, are you an Egyptian superhero?" And she's like, "Yes." First of all, you are not a superhero.
Yeah.
You never wanted to be one. This entire show, you are literally the opposite
Right.
of a superhero. Do not tell me you're a superhero. And furthermore, like, all you are is an Egyptian falcon with swords that you don't even really use.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Look, you look better. And I would wish you were that character to begin with, but you weren't.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense to me how you're doing this 180 flip of like, yes, now I'm an Egyptian superhero. I'm going to be a role model for everybody.
Right. Because even in that same episode, she literally says no to being Tarawet's avatar.
Initially, yeah.
Because Tarawet is like, "Oh, you can be my avatar and we'll free Khonshu together." And she's like, "No, I'll do it as a human." Like,
Same thing
I
with
don't need to be your
Khonshu, and he was like,
avatar.
"Oh, you can do me a temporary avatar."
Yeah.
She's like, "No."
She's like, "No, I don't, no." And so I hear you on that. I think that scene with what that scene felt like to me as I watched it, the whole saving and being like, "Oh, you're an Egyptian superhero," that to me just seemed like
That is a lame Disney move.
Yeah,
It is
Disney
100%
being
a Disney
inclusive of all these different races, which, like, again, I'm not against inclusivity, and I'm not against, I'm not trying to say I'm racist or anything, but just when you try to interject those things, or when you forcefully interject those things into a story like this, it demeans both the story and what the message you're trying to get across.
Well, yeah, like, I mean,
To me, it was
feel
just
like I explained it
awkward,
enough.
and
Like, the idea of itself is not
Yeah.
the problem. It's
Yeah.
that you completely changed what you were initially
Right.
telling me, and then you just want me to just believe that? No.
I hear you. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about things in a different light. I think it might just be my bias towards psychological storytelling and I think I was just I was captured within that story that I may not have been paying attention to everything else outside of it as much as I should have in order to.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, like, especially considering, like I said, I just like you don't know much about this character
Right.
and stuff. To me, the fact that because I know I'm pretty sure this show has been like praised by a lot of people,
Yeah.
but like, and this is not even me digging deep. Like, this is just like things that I immediately was catching as I was watching this show. So it's
Yeah.
not, I'm not like digging to hate on this show. Like, to me, it was just like in my face, giving me all these reasons of why I don't like it anymore.
Right.
Because it started off really well.
Right. Right.
And to me, it just didn't finish. So I guess I'll just keep adding to
Yeah,
to it.
no, go for it.
So Ethan Hawke's character, right? We have all this development throughout the show, and then at the very end, basically, once Ahmed gets okay, first he does like. It makes no sense to me that he has all these problems with like trying to release Ahmed and stuff, but then when he uses his power, he just wrecks everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like, what was the issue from the beginning of the freaking
why didn't
show?
you-
Why didn't you just destroy everybody
What
immediately?
is it? I
and
don't
then do
remember
it, like-
how he. Like I knew he had powers the entire time, but
He did.
Why did all of a sudden? Is it because
exactly.
he had
It's
the totem or whatever it's
No,
called?
because it was before he releases Ahmed. He
No, but because he got the totem because he shot Mark Spector and he got the. I'm just gonna keep calling it totem because I don't remember what the Egyptian word is for it, but he took that from Mark, and I'm pretty sure that's when like his cane changed to the axe looking.
But that
thing.
doesn't make sense because the totem, for Khonshu's sake and Moon
Yeah.
Knight, means that you don't have any power.
Right, right.
So that makes no sense according to this show. And yet
No,
here
you're
we
right.
are at the end of the show, and you're trying to tell me that it's
All of a sudden
different.
he has
Why?
wrecking power.
Yeah, and he just starts using these crazy, awesome looking spells and just destroying everybody.
yeah.
And that's like, okay. And then release Ahmed. CG and stuff is cool, I guess. They do this weird thing where like she starts like shit, it's funny. So she's like, oh, now I'm gonna judge the world, but I'm gonna do it with my group of 6 people that are around the city, one by one, judging people, stealing their souls. And then as it does that, it does this like soul transfer thing to Ahmed, and she like consumes it
and
and
she gets
grows
bigger.
large and becomes like a Godzilla crocodile lady.
It looked like the scene from Shang-Chi when all the little bird thingies are bringing the souls to the soul eater.
Except worse.
Yeah, except it didn't do anything really.
She just grew bigger
Yeah,
for
she just
no
got
reason.
bigger.
Because Khonshu was just like, boom, here I am.
That was one of the plot holes that I was like, so it took them giving souls to her in order for her to get bigger.
Khonshu's
How the
just
hell
like,
did Khonshu just
hold
all of a
my
sudden be
beer.
like, it's like, oh, I'm big too now.
And then they do this Titan fight, and like,
Yeah.
I'm sure people probably enjoyed it. That was the lamest fight I've ever seen.
It was pointless too, because it didn't affect anything. There was no, it had no value. It added nothing, and it took away nothing from the story.
It literally meant nothing. It was
if
just
you-
a background thing for them to
If
show.
you cut that out of the series, it wouldn't make a single difference to the story.
Yep.
And that makes no sense to me. Why would you, one, spend the money on that, and two, why would you put that in there just for the visual spectacle?
But it didn't even look that great.
Yeah, and it was.
I mean,
it's a
not that-
crocodile
like,
and a dead
not that
bird.
like the CG was bad. It's just like they weren't even fighting like any way, like cool way. It was just real lame, like slow motion, like goo, goo. Like
No, I hear you on that one for sure.
It's lame.
I hear you on that one for sure. I wonder if, because at some point I think they released it with the intention of it being a limited series, meaning one season. But I think at some point during the season, I think they got enough support and enough people liked it that I'm pretty sure they're doing more. My brother,
Well, they want to. I know they want to. So the thing is that originally, I'm pretty sure Oscar Isaacs initially told them, "I'm only giving you one season," and it was supposed to be a one-off. But because it's been successful, they want to do more.
Right.
I don't know if he's gonna agree to that.
right?
If he does, I mean, I hope he does, because I feel like it would redeem the show giving more time to it. But because I think initially too, when they first released the last episode, when it was displayed, it said final Moon Knight episode, and then they're like, oh wait,
series finale. And my brother actually brought this up last night when we were watching it. He's like, hey, just so you know, they initially released the cover art, whatever, saying series finale, and now
And
it
then they
says
changed the
season finale.
Yeah.
So,
So the only thing is, I don't know if that was intentional
it had to have been.
or if it was an accident.
Nah, Marvel and Disney are way too big. Way too big, way too successful, way too many checks and balances in the process for something that major to have slipped through. There's no way.
Explain to me how this show ended then.
Well, that's different. That's just storytelling, and some storytellers being better than others. When we're talking about logistical and the building blocks of any series, like you don't release a thumbnail or a cover art for something like that and mess up something that literally means the difference between it being done and it potentially having
Maybe
more.
it was a new person working that day.
I doubt it. I doubt it. There's no way. There's no doubt in my mind that it was intentional. That like I said, I feel like at some point in the season they got enough support. They convinced enough people within Disney's or whoever it is that's in charge of deciding whether or not it gets more. They convinced them that we should at least flesh it out, see if we can do more.
Yeah.
And that's when they're like, okay, well, we got to make sure that we don't like shut the door on ourselves. You know what I mean?
And like I said, I hope they do more.
Yeah.
Because that will make this better. As it is right now, though, to me, is not good.
Okay.
The final, battle, all of it just, to me, was really bad. The whole fight scene with, I think it was Ethan Hawke's character and Layla / Moon Knight.
This is the most underwhelming, anticlimactic finale boss fight ever.
Yep.
It literally, for those of you that have not watched it yet, Ethan Hawke's character is manhandling Moon Knight and whatever Layla's avatar name is.
Scarlet Scarab.
Sure. Manhandling him. Right? I mean, they get in some good shots here and there, but it's one dude with the staff and powers messing up Moon Knight and the other girl. He's messing him up. He's doing well. And then Moon Knight gets thrown off and he's pinned on the ground, and Ethan Hawke's character has his staff in his chest.
Well, not even that. The Layla's character, after while they're fighting, he does something and throws something at her and sticks her to a vehicle.
He deflects because Moon Knight throws one of his moons that he takes off his chest, and he throws it at Ethan Hawke's character, and Ethan Hawke, Harrow, he deflects it onto Layla's hand and sticks her to the car.
And that's it.
And
she's pissed.
Then some of Harrow's minions come up with guns and are shooting at Layla point blank, and Layla has her wing covering her face to try and survive, but at the same time it's covering this, so that the top of her head and her hair is flowing over the wing, and I'm just yeah, and literally it's a solid it's a solid second of a guy with some kind of AR just straight full auto right at the wing, point blank, from me to you, just straight at the wing. No thought of oh, maybe I should just aim a little bit up or aim a little bit down.
It's one of those Batman moments of shoot everywhere here, but just not the face.
Right.
That's the most vulnerable spot.
Exactly. So, that she's pinned there, and then Moon Knight's fighting fighting Harrow by himself. Harrow pins him, knocks off his mask, and has him with his staff, and his staff is doing some kind of spell that looks like it's draining his life or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts. From that, it just cuts, and then the picture comes back in, and it's Moon Knight
on top of him,
on top of Harrow, and he's
out,
messed
basically.
up.
Yeah, he's jacked up.
I'm like, what? I literally told my brother, I was like, what the just happened?
Yeah, so usually at least it's really bad. I understand why they did it. Obviously once you get to the end credits, they explain it. But it's still not excusable.
It's not acceptable in my opinion.
Not for the season finale.
No. Not for the final boss fight. If it had done that periodically throughout, because there were other instances where, when he's on the cliff and he kills all the kids, that in hindsight, Because at the time we thought, oh, that was Mark Spector because he's a mercenary killer. But in hindsight, that wasn't Mark. That was also that had to have also been the Jake Loxley character, right? Because he just murdered a whole bunch of kids or like teenagers and stuff, and he also blacked out at that time. So there are hints of it elsewhere, but like you said,
but when those happened, I don't know if that's the case because in the end part when that happens, he wakes up and he's like, wait a minute, what just happened?
Yeah,
and they're both like, was that you? And like, definitely not me, mate. That didn't happen in the beginning.
I'd have to rewatch it, but I'm pretty sure that Steven has control of the body, and then he blacks out, and he comes to, and everybody is dead around him, like bloody, messed up, like bad dead, not just like killed in self defense. They're like they're messed up, and he blames it on Mark, but we never. I'm pretty sure we never get confirmation from Mark saying, "Oh, I didn't do that," or "I did do that."
Yeah, but because I don't know, to me, because he didn't mention it, like, "Oh, that wasn't me."
But also at that time,
because it was too early. Because I don't think the third personality is really introduced until the asylum episode when they see that coffin shaking. Yeah. To me, that's when they basically were saying, "Oh, there's a third."
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, that's just me. But either way, like, yeah, basically the whole like battle was just ended up being really bad.
It was not a good way to end it for sure.
What did not really make up for the whole show, but I did enjoy was the final end credits thing, introduction of the third personality.
Yeah. Because basically for those of you that haven't watched it, they bind Amit to Ethan Hawke's character, Harold. Like, they bind her into a physical form instead of trapping her in the sand statue again.
So that somebody else could just release her.
They trap him into Harrow, and Khonshu tells Moon Knight to kill Harrow, because if you kill Harrow, it also kills Amit, because she can never come back. And Moon Knight shows mercy.
Pull another Disney move, which I feel like doesn't fit this character.
No, because he's supposed to be the Punisher.
A hero. Yeah, he's not a hero.
He's supposed to be the bringer, or he's supposed to be the protector of those who travel in the night.
He's vengeance.
Yeah.
Hey, vengeance.
Yeah, I didn't like that either, because it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't fit what the character is supposed to be. It fits what Mark Spector and Steven
to do that, okay. But but as we learn, Steven is just a side thing that was created. Yeah. So, and as Mark, I feel like Mark would do that. Yeah. Because that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Right.
Because was there a little, I don't remember, was there a moment where Layla was like, "Oh, don't do that"?
I think she said Mark.
Oh, okay.
She's like, Mark.
This reminds me of another really, really bad, stupid scene. And it's when it's Khonshu, Mark, and Layla. And she's like, "Don't listen to him. You're free."
Oh, yeah.
What? No, you're not. You're literally still stuck to him. Yeah. You're not free from anything. He doesn't have to.
Yeah,
he's like
already free.
It's like, no, you're not.
I'm pretty sure that happened.
Because you're both avatars now. Yeah. Both of you are technically not free. And they're just like, what are you talking about? Just stop.
The other thing I didn't like that doesn't really make sense, is in the beginning, they implied that if you were the god's avatar, you were trapped. You had no say in it. You couldn't be released, and you just were stuck there. Yeah. And then towards the end, all of a sudden, you can make these temporary deals. Yep.
This was another stupid.
Yeah, I'll be your avatar for now, but you're gonna release me when we're done.
It's like, and then now we can negotiate with gods.
And the gods are like, yeah, sure.
Listen, you look here, buddy. Look at me. I am the captain now. I'm gonna be your avatar for this much. I'm gonna do this and this, and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't care who you think you are. I'm in charge.
Yeah. No, I didn't like that for sure. And then my final. So, all right. Before we get into this last thing, what I will say is this is a series that tells a psychological story, and it does tell it with an emphasis on a different culture and different race than what we're used to. And for those reasons, I do personally recommend, if you have the time, watch it. If you, it's not something that you gotta like move stuff around in your schedule and not like hold off on watching other things
really
for.
Short, so.
But it is, because it's only 6 episodes, and because of those things, I do think it's worth watching if you have the time to do it. Okay. So my final gripe with it, and to me it's the biggest plot hole in the entire series, and could really, like, honestly, I might be missing something, honestly, but if I'm not, if I'm thinking of or if I'm thinking of it correctly, the rest of the ending final 2 episodes doesn't make any sense, and it has to do with the balancing of the scales in the underworld, because how could they possibly, because the scales didn't balance until Steven wasn't in the picture anymore, right? Yeah. Because Steven was throwing off the scales because he didn't technically exist. So you're telling me that Steven affected the scales and caused them not to balance, but the third character that supposedly has been there the whole time doesn't affect it at all? How?
I mean, that just adds to the many plot holes.
To me, it's the biggest one, because if they go by the logic of Steven affecting the scales because he's part of Mark and he has to, whatever, he should have had to do that with the third character too. Otherwise, he never would have made it back to the world of the living.
Well, no, that's a whole nother plot hole, because the only reason he made it back to the living was because of the other god, I guess, being nice before he, like, his avatar passed and, like, let him return, because he's not supposed to. Once you get there, that's it. You're supposed to just be there in the reeds of whatever, like their heaven-like place.
Oh,
you're not supposed to be allowed to go back. It's because he decides to, like, he, I guess, like, feels or sensed him and was like, he's got to save us. And I'm going to release you so you can go save Khonshu and save everything and all this other stuff.
Are you talking about Tarawet? The hippo?
No. There was the I don't know what his name is, but that's the guy that was kind of like the leader of all the gods in the suit.
Yeah.
He ends up doing, like, because Tarawet mentions him, and she's like, "Oh, Osiris, you're such a softie," after he gets out. So that god is the one that let him go back. The whole thing with him, with the like that, that doesn't make sense. But to me, that's nothing. Like,
really? I don't know. To me, that's like,
everything else to me is way more of a bigger plot hole than that.
Doesn't make any sense.
Because that character is not even introduced until later, and, like, that little thing, like I said, that wasn't the reason why he went back. That was just another reason of why he shouldn't have gone anywhere to begin with. And then I don't know why they do this whole, like, the whole dramatic thing when he's like, "Oh, no, I need to go save Steven."
Yeah.
Like, and this, like,
screw this eternal bliss.
I don't care about, like, reeds. What? No, thank you. Like, if this is where you wanted to be, just be there, bro. Like, and then it's like, no, I want to go do the right thing and go save Steven. Steven's not even real, bro.
Yeah. He's literally a figment of your own imagination that you
And then
created.
they do, like, the whole dramatic thing where he goes back, and then, I mean, from what they were explaining, I thought it sounded a lot worse than it really was.
Yeah.
It was literally, you're just stuck in a desert. I thought it was going to be
and you're
like,
frozen.
You're like in the depths of hell, like with all these, like, demons and stuff. Nope, they're just frozen in sand. Yeah. And then he goes back and it does this, like, dramatic
cute little hold
thing
hands
with he's like apologizing and stuff. They do this little light thing, and then the doors open, and then they go back, and then Tarawet does this, like, comedic
Saves
relief
him,
thing. Or stops the sand from trying to get them.
No, I definitely think the more we talk about it, the more we dive into it, the more problems I do have with the show. And I think we could sit here and pick it apart all day, but ultimately, what is your final impression of the show of Moon Knight?
Okay. My final impression, like I said, I'm really disappointed. I hope they do more. because I think it'll be better. Because I think that their biggest issue is time, and they need more of it.
Okay.
They don't have it here, and I'm rating it based on what they have here.
Right.
I know a lot of people like the show, and that's fine. To me, there's so many reasons why it's not like very good.
Right.
Could be really good.
Yeah.
Because the acting that's done in this show, at least by
Yeah.
Oscar Isaacs, is amazing, and Ethan Hawke is really good.
Yeah.
There's another movie with him coming out that I'm excited for. And a lot of like the gods and stuff, I think they're pretty cool. It's nice to see like Egyptian stuff going on. I want to see Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Give me Moon Knight. Stop pulling this. Like I understand. Like now that you've gotten character development basically mostly out of the way, give me Moon Knight.
No, I hear you. Okay.
So
what is your recommendation? Before you give
I do recommend people to watch this because I want everybody to have their own opinion.
But it's not something they need to like.
I don't think you need to go out of your way to watch this. But if you have the time and you have nothing to watch, it's a good watch.
Okay.
It's just if you can look past all like a lot of the things that I was talking about, because there's a lot that happens throughout the show, and I don't know everything off the top of my head, remember everything off the top of my head. But if you can just look past it, you'll probably enjoy it.
Right.
But for me, disappointed.
Okay. And what's your score?
Because of how disappointed I was with the show overall, especially because I thought it was so good in the beginning, I'm going to give it a 5.
Damn, that's the same score as Halo.
The first episode. If I gave Halo a number,
that's true.
It would be way less.
we will be doing a final impressions.
Yeah.
That's probably
I'm waiting for the last episode to come out to do another free trial to finish that.
All right. So my final impression of Moon Knight, the series, or at least season 1, is if you are partial to, or let me say this, I enjoyed the technical and talent aspect of the show, meaning Oscar Isaac's performance was so amazing in so many different regards that it carried the weight of the show for me, and it kept me engaged because sometimes I would sit there and just try to see if I could pick apart his performance, because by the end of it, man, I was sitting there like I feel like I'm looking at two different people like all together.
Yeah. No, he does a great job.
His ability to portray two different characters on the screen at the same exact time is unbelievable.
It's so good that I hate Steven.
Yeah.
But I love Mark. And and now that they've introduced Jake, I love Jake. He's the one I want.
So I think that's, for me, the final impression is that it's Oscar Isaac's performance carried the show, and there was just enough action and cool things and new things in order to keep me interested to the end. My recommendation is the same as yours. If you have the time, if you have a little bit of extra time and you have nothing else to watch, put it on. 6 episodes, finish it in 2 days. You finish it in 1 day if you're hardcore.
Because they're only like 45 minutes.
Yeah, they're 45. I think the final one is an hour, but they're typical 45-minute episodes. So you could finish it in a day if you really wanted to. 2 days is all you need. So if you have the time, do it. But it's not something you need to prioritize over anything else. No. And my rating, because of Oscar Isaac's performance, is going to be a 7.
I can't do that. As much as I love him.
I understand.
That's not fair. To me,
I understand everything that you said, and you definitely, I don't want to say you changed my opinion, but you definitely opened my eyes to the reason why I have the opinion I have. Because I didn't, like I said, I was so enchanted by the character development and the technical aspect of the acting and whatnot that I didn't pay attention as much to the rest of the storytelling that I should have. So, and that's why it gets a 7 for me. It's just because Oscar Isaac just absolutely nailed it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for checking out this episode of our take on Disney and Marvel's newest TV show called Moon Knight. It just wrapped up last week, right? Was the last episode?
I think so.
Or was it 2 weeks ago?
Oh, no. I think it might have been 2 weeks ago.
I think it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, it was the last episode. Like we both said, if you guys have the extra time and you don't have anything else to watch, go ahead and turn it on, watch it, enjoy it, and then once you finish it, go ahead and put down in the comments how you felt. What were your grievances with the show? And we also want to know if you agree with us on Oscar Isaac's performance.
Yeah.
So
also, by all means, all you Marvel fans, come at me, bro.
Yeah, let us know. Maybe we missed something. Maybe maybe we just weren't paying attention or whatever.
I was paying attention.
I
was
know.
trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, and everybody has different perspectives, so feel free to let us know yours. We appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Please drop us a like, comment, subscribe, check out our other videos, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
See you.